Okay, organization design practices. Organization design practices are mechanisms by means of which an organization implements its strategy within the framework of its structure. See, remember the key word is now you've inherited a structure, you can't do very much about it. So, within that structure, you try and design mechanisms to make the best outcome. These mechanisms are usually designed and enunciated by management as the organization's policies, various policies. Some of the critical policies for strategy implementation are staffing or personnel policy, performance review and rewards policy, shared values and corporate culture. So, these are all people oriented policies. And we see two cases here, one is Disney and the other is Westinghouse. In Disney's case, you see in stark relief as distinct from Westinghouse, where they had built a culture, all right. They had a performance and reward system. Staffing policy was clear cut and enunciated. Westinghouse, the case only gives evidence of a short term orientation, no common thread running through the whole organization. There are many divisions, many groups. There is no evidence of any common thread running, of any common platform, of anyone interacting with anyone else, and the absence of a culture or shared value. Staffing or personnel policy, recruitment and selection, advertisements, company owned schools, campus recruitment, trainees to employees, personal networking and headhunters. This is a list of ways to go about, all right, getting people. And there is always a cost which is attached to getting new people, and there is always a risk attached to getting new people, because you may not ultimately get the kind of people that you want. And as I said, in India the risks are much more, because once you get people, it's not easy to get rid of people. It's very easy to get people, not easy to get rid of. Whereas in the Western world, it's not so. And this is a very, very important aspect. Okay. There are many companies which have got laid down policies against each of these. For instance, some companies would have a policy to say that children of senior management, irrespective of their qualification or experience, they cannot be recruited in the company. Why? What is the underlying principle of making a policy like that? Favoritism, bias. Personal networking, recruitment by personal networking. Do you support this? Why? Why?
You already know about the particular person, how he behaves. I mean, instead of being just evaluating him from an interview or a short-term evaluation process, if you know a person and
so say that we have got, let's say, 10 faculty members here, and we have a vacancy, by the way, now for 7 more, because we have got a sanction for 17 faculty members. So I am looking for faculty members. Now, do you think I should support this personal networking principle? By any professor comes and says, I know a very good faculty member, and so on. So why don't we take? And then we take him or her. I can't make out, one at a time. Yes, you tell me. What do you think? Should I take?
Sir, it depends more upon the professor who's recommended someone from outside. It depends upon the credibility of the man who's recommended.
But all my professors are credible.
You can recruit him.
So you can
If
always
you are
take
convinced that he is the right person.
recommendation and
No, but what the point is making is, yes. So then what happens is my personal judgment comes in, right?
Your personal judgment is necessary.
All right. So he says, if I personally feel that the professor who is recommending is on the up and up and his judgment is good, therefore if he says this third person is a good professor, then I should believe him, only then I should recruit him.
so after interviews or some tests, maybe like
Why?
so
Because it costs money. I am saying as a policy, would you support it? You would. Like what?
Say you are running an organization and the topmost post.
No,
you want to
say,
give it
let's take VG Som itself. I am CEO of VG Som. Tell me.
to- Yeah, for the faculty probably you can do.
For
Faculties you can do.
faculty I can do.
Yes.
Personal students you can.
Students I can't do. Okay. Why not?
So because you need to evaluate students in order to get them.
You don't need to evaluate faculty. Faculty is very, very important. In fact, faculty is so important that when you take a faculty, okay, even the head of department, when a selection board is set up, head of department is not allowed to be there for a professor. You have someone coming, the visitors nominee comes from Delhi, ministry. Why? Because if the HOD is there, he may be biasing the other members, like the director or the dean FNP. So, the underlying principle is it should be absolutely unbiased so that favoritism is not present. In personal networking, don't you think favoritism can be there? Can be beneficial also.
If you have the proper checks, then can you eliminate it?
So, checks and balance. So, we are coming around to the view, yes, you can have this as a policy, subject to there being a board, there being panel members on that, okay, with a higher authority who will also approve such thing and so on and so forth.
Suppose you choose a person,
Right.
give him 2 or 3 test classes. The students approve of it.
That will be the best way.
That's one way, but how do I have faith in the students that they are not immature, all right? They have the capacity to judge. It can be one of the inputs, that's it.
So after all, the students are like the schools.
True?
How many faculty members will be willing to go through this boring test of 2-3 days, coming and attending, giving lectures and all these things? How many candidates?
Very
That
few.
also.
Very few will be willing to go. See, he is a man from industry, he looks at practical things. But again we are talking of policies. Why are we saying? Staffing is one of the very important mechanisms. And when you dig a little deeper, you will find that at first sight it looks like very self-evident thing. You advertise and then you company owns schools. What does that mean? Many companies run schools, no? Should they immediately take the graduates from the school? Why not? You are training them, I say, as per your own standards.
If there is a requirement.
Company owns schools.
School might be a business.
You are ensuring the standards of the school.
The school might be a business. School might be a different business from what you're doing.
Okay.
You should not mix up all your businesses unless they are related.
Don't put your eggs in the same basket. Well, in L&T, we had started a school, a diploma college, exclusively for the children of employees. So the intake was not, very bright students all the time. Employees' children means you were eligible. So the cutoff was only 45% in class 10. Okay. And one policy we had made, I was also on the board of trustees of that. And we thought it proper to make that we will take them for training. It was a sandwich course, 3 years diploma. But we will not take them in our company. Because L&T core policy was that the company valued and the strategy was to take on merit. So that at any time, throughout its 50 years and more, you have people who have come on their own merit and not by any other means. So that being the overall policy, it was felt that even if it is our school, we will try to place in other companies, but we won't take in our company. We will train them, summer training and other training. Campus recruitment. Should it be a policy? Yes, automatic. Why? What are the minus points of campus recruitment?
Not for all jobs. You can't.
Any minus points?
Not for all.
Not for all.
Huh?
Can be for entry.
Can be costly. Let us see minus points. Why should you? Campus recruitment as a policy. So, why not? Let's say what are the bad points? Costly?
Only for entry level.
Then?
Only for entry level.
Yeah, okay, only entry. Why shouldn't I advertise? Why should I come to campus? I might gain better because here I am selecting 10, 12 campuses. I am not saying, someone else has said. Who said costly? There, he is saying costly. Tell.
It is actually less expensive.
So can we interview many people?
Okay, I am saying two question marks. Cost is one important factor in recruitment. What about quality? What about quality? Are you tapping the best quality? You don't know. Say how many campuses can you visit? I know that a lot of people who don't visit VG-SOM are losing out on quality. But they don't visit. It's foolishness. They should come to VG-SOM. Might be biased. Might be. But are you biased? But isn't it self-evident? How many? If you advertise in the national papers, what is the reach of that advertisement? Much more than going to 20. How many can you visit?
It will also reach unwanted elements. It will also reach unwanted.
If you advertise. Why? What do you mean by unwanted elements?
Everyone might not be interested in you. And the people who are
No, I have not understood. What is the unwanted element? You mean antisocial elements or what? What do you mean by that? All right, they apply. So what's wrong with that? I reject them. Cost. It again comes to cost.
So the cost of screening the applications and then interviewing all the applicants will be cost.
So whereas on the one hand you have a better response, but on the other hand there is more cost. So you have to then decide as a manager in your company, in your situation, what kind of costs you are willing to incur and how much choice you want to have. Say you are taking unskilled workmen, will you advertise in papers? No. Why? Because they are unskilled. You may get 5 million applications. There are rules also and laws. You have to give it to the employment exchanges. Okay. Anyway, the point I am trying to make, recruitment policies are extremely important from strategy point of view. This is not so evident. You usually don't relate a staffing or a subunit of staffing, that is a recruitment, as important for strategy and strategy implementation. But when you dig deeper, you find it is there. Because over a period of time, the kind of people that you get depends on the kind of mechanisms that you have set up. In A, recruiting them, B, inducting and orienting them, C, training them, all right, and D, reviewing their performance, E, rewarding or punishing them. So, if you do this well, you lay solid foundations for a good strategy implementation, for a good company. If you don't do it so well, then slowly you erode your competitive advantage. That's the point. What about headhunters? Very costly. Why? Yes. Means how much do they charge? About 10 lakhs or what is it? How costly are they?
I don't know the exact figure.
You don't know, I'll tell you. They usually charge 20% of the annual compensation. Or they ask for 20%. You can negotiate with them and then settle anywhere depending on the clout of the seller. You know, again, Michael Porter's. It comes here. If it's a very big and powerful and they guarantee that they'll give you exactly what you want, then they won't reduce their price. If it's small freelance but has good contacts, he may give it to you for 12%, 10%, that you can negotiate. So, it depends on the kind of recruitment also, does it not? If you are looking for a vice president, all right, then you may think that headhunter may be a better route than making a public advertisement, all right.
Outsourcing the process. They're just outsourcing it to somebody else. They're not handling it internally.
Well, you can headhunt yourself also, and that comes under personal networking. Well, they do screening also. Some of the good search consultants. Headhunter is not what they call themselves, they call themselves search consultants. They'll first screen out and then they'll shortlist and then bring it to the client's attention. Trainees to employees. What do you think of this? Should we have that as a policy? Very important. Many American firms do that in USA. That's why there the summer training is so very important. In fact, people take interviews for summer training like they take interviews for job training here. Is it desirable for the company to do so? If so, why? Less cost? Better quality maybe because you have seen for longer time. What are the minus points?
Person might perform right at the training level but might not perform.
Yes, that is one minus point. What else? You are limiting your search, are you not? Again, you are limiting your search. See, once you are very clear about what is your mission, goal and what is your strategic plan, then you can hone in the kind of recruitment policy that suits your strategy. Example, a construction company, L&T's ECC division, they have a policy or they will not recruit from top rung colleges, engineers. Why? Sounds very stupid, no, to start with. That means they are missing out on the best people. Huh? Why? Huh? Why? You know how many percentage stay with L&T within the first 6 months? 30% go, GETs. But L&T's policy is we still come to the campuses, we still recruit. Within 1 year, 50% are gone. But we still do it, yeah, but not ECC. ECC does not go at all to L&T or did not. I may be a little dated now. They had a powerful reason for it, which was consistent with their strategy. Huh? Pay packet. I'll tell you the reason. Most engineers from top rung colleges in India, they would hate to take a construction site job, which was ECC's bread and butter. They wanted people to stay at. Anyone ever visited a construction site? How you have to stay there? In greenfield projects. If you are lucky, you are in a town like Kharagpur, you know, where they had this. Otherwise, it's a very tough life, but it's a very satisfying life, because at a very young age with no experience you get terrific responsibility. You are an engineer in charge of the site, there may be 500 labor there, all kinds of problems. So, their experience was that the top rank colleges, the boys do not want to work in construction site. So, then they said, let us go to the second rank colleges, and there from second rank we will only take toppers, first 2% or 3%. So, we balance, and these people will value a job with L&T ECC, they will make a career and we will train them in managerial and other qualities to make fine managers later for our kind of business. We are in the construction business, which means you are away from the shall we say advantages of civic amenities, cities and so on. So, strategy is very important even in recruiting policies, and it has a long term effect. That point is clear, it is very important. Remember, do not take it lightly. Formal induction and orientation, how important is it? Do we have in Vigisom any policy of formal induction and orientation? No? Is it formal or informal? It is formal. We have 1 day of orientation. Is that enough? It is enough. Do you think we can improve on it? What is our mission? What is our mission? We have a mission statement. Is there in the brochure? Where is brochure committee? What is the mission?
Develop CEOs for knowledge-based managerial.
So, what is the kind of training we want to give to develop a CEO? Is it just 10 courses of work and 1 dissertation and summer training, or do you need something more? Think about it. And can induction and orientation be used as a mechanism to fulfill that long term strategy? Anyway, if you have any ideas, let me know. We should have a suggestion scheme here, but the suggestion should be only for long term good, not for your immediate good, because that is private agenda. For future students to come, how you can improve the school. Formal training in company and external. So, we have no evidence from the Westinghouse case whether they did any of it, but from the Disney case we saw the kind of training they had. It was really rigorous. That operations manual 30 page, they had to master it. You noted, no? They were not allowed to start work unless they passed that test. They did the role playing and they passed. So, getting into Disney was not enough. To start their work, they had to pass a rigorous test. They felt it is so important. What else? They were told huge amount of information that manual had about Disney itself. The whole idea being, any one of the visitors, ask them anything. They should not be in a position, they should not say, sorry, I don't know, you have to go and ask so and so department. That is the kind of service they did not want to happen. They should be able to give you answer on the spot, on any subject. In company and external program. Why external? Why not in company?
The company may not have the resources to.
Say a company has resources, you have a choice. You have enough budget. What would you prefer? Think about it. Kalyan?
The training department might not be sufficient to inculcate all the skills, so they require some external help also.
I can get all the skills that I want. I'll hire out all the professors. I have budget. I don't need my own faculty. I'll hire faculty. I'll bring up Vijay Som and say, I want on strategic management, send Professor Kalyan Chakravarti.
Suppose your trainings need exposure in customer side.
Customer side.
With the customers. So definitely it has some extra training.
Well, basically what he's trying to say, and I'll say it for him, is that they get exposure to other executives. That is very important for the socialization process. You have these programs in IIM and so on, other executive development programs, because you can measure yourself, your executives, against the worth of other executives. That is very important, which you miss out. It is an in-company program. That competitive edge is not there. Okay? On the job, support industry associations participation. Why? How is it part of training? Develop contacts. What else?
They may hold their own training programs for the particular industry.
You get knowledge. It gives you a window on the outside world, and particularly if you have picked executives who have potential for senior and higher management, as they go higher and higher and higher, what is going to happen? The proportion of their job, which is inside looking and outside looking, changes in favor of more outside looking jobs, isn't it? Dealing with stakeholders outside the organization, going more and more away from the detailed operations which take up so much time of middle level and junior level people. So this is a learning experience for them. When they have platform, like you go to CII, you are on a committee of CII, you meet other people, so you network, right? You make contacts. And you also learn about so many other market intelligence information, how other companies are doing. So this is part of your training for top management. Okay? Yes?
The outside world.
Absolutely. Performance review and reward. There are two types of systems which I use. One is hierarchy based system. These are very broad classification. And that is emphasis on person focus, developmental focus, quality of performance focus. What does it mean? This is distinct, this is hierarchy based, distinct from performance based system. This is a market based approach. What is meant by market based? Contractors, agents. What does it mean? Say I appoint a dealer. He is in a sense conceptually also delivering, contributing, like my employee is contributing. But how am I rewarding him? I am giving him a discount for what he sells, right? So it's a market based approach. Whether he develops certain skills, whether his attitudes change, am I so interested in it? Not vitally interested. But in my own employees, am I not interested that he changes his attitude, his values are proper, he is developing skills so that he can do jobs of senior management later on. So this is a distinction. Hierarchy based systems is normally very suitable when you are talking of managerial ranks, where you have got an investment, a stake in the person who will be with you, who are handling very important matters in respect of your company. So close superior subordinate relationship between a boss and a subordinate. Extensive use of criteria along with objective measures. This should be qualitative criteria. Qualitative, like what? What is a qualitative criteria? Say you have a sales manager and your vice president sales, all right. You have objective criteria also, like what was his target, his budget, no? So many crores of rupees sales for the year, and let's say he has made his target. What is meant by qualitative criteria when you review his performance?
His soft skills basically.
Soft skills, what does that mean?
He's
He can talk nicely, politely, this sort of thing, or
Yeah. How he mixes with people and how he is able to interact and pull in people as customers and
Repeat buys.
and make
okay, yes,
Repeat buys.
can't make out.
Repeat buys. If the customer comes back to you.
So he should be a good salesman, the art of conversational selling. What else? Qualitative. A very important qualitative criteria is, can he motivate his people in his department to do better? Means, is he a loner performer, that is good as a sales engineer or salesman, or can he work through his people? Can he motivate? Can he develop his people? Can he build teams? Because if you are talking of higher level people, and these are qualitative criteria which are very important. Is he himself a team worker? One is building a team, the other is ability to work in a team. Or he has very bad, low skills of team working. So these qualitative qualities then become very important in middle and senior management performance appraisal. What do you judge his integrity to be? Very important. What is the meaning of integrity? As distinct from honesty. As distinct, I am saying, I am differentiating. Commitment to job, yeah, that is part of integrity. If you are working somewhere, all right, you have joined, your integrity is professional integrity. You must do a good job of it. Honesty is a little more basic level. You know, are you padding your expense account? And so on. So isn't it very important? Imagine what happened to Enron. What was the underlying root causes of Enron becoming the way it became? Managers in very senior position, top management, who had lack of integrity. They were thinking about themselves first, to the exclusion of the organization that they served. Extensive use, guiding, coaching, mentoring by superiors for job performance, potential growth and development and career planning. So it's a whole basket of qualitative criteria, all right, which strategically become very, very important to the organization. Because over a period of, let's say, a decade or 2 decades, if you have mediocrity, people who lack, let's say, knowledge, skills, who are not result oriented, who lack integrity, if they slowly go up to the top of the organization, that organization is doomed, is going for disaster. Emphasis on group and team working for results encourages and supports long-term strategic thinking. So these qualitative criteria are very important for performance review, and this is on hierarchy based system. So person focus, development focus, quality of performance. And the other side is performance based, all right, which is the reverse, no close superior subordinate relationship, emphasis on measurable quantity of output, quantitative basically, no group or team focus, compensation is performance based design. What does that mean? That means the salary component, which is a fixed component, is low. It may be 60%, and 40% is what he can earn if he performs to this extent, which is measurable. What is the example of this? A medical representative, salesman, right? Supports unrelated diversification strategies at corporate business level. What does this mean? Westinghouse. They are looking for quick profits, no strategic aim or vision. Westinghouse, the problem which I find is there wasn't any common platform or thread to bind these. As someone said, that although it's important to have core competency and to focus on it and so on, it's not impossible to run a company well and profitably, even if you are in 2 or 3 or 4 industries. And I can give you an example. L&T itself, has it not run well and profitably? What is the relationship with cement division, all right, with switchgear division? Tell me. Is there any relationship? No. Or valves division or computer software, aren't they disparate? But still it hasn't gone the way of Westinghouse. Why? Common culture which transcends the various sectors of business that you are operating in. And what is the common element in all this? Common element is the human being, the people. So people actually provide you the common thread through values and through culture. And then finally, the collective values and culture, that becomes a kind of corporate personality. Okay? That is what makes it possible, even in unfocused businesses, to still do well, which brings to shared values and corporate culture. Shared values are fundamental ideals and norms that influences people's behavior and forms the underpinning of an organization's corporate culture. You see, it translates from the individuals into a collective culture. And the catalyst is what? Leadership. Corporate culture is the embodiment of shared values, the norms and unwritten rules which guide people's behavior and actions and interrelations with each other. So, tell me, someone, what is the culture of VG Som as an organization? I keep coming back to it. I am interested to know. We are at a stage now where we are going to take off from a small school into a big school. 3 years down the line, God willing, we will have 240 people, students. So we need to put a little foundation. Anyone is interested, which bring me in project management for summer training, because we are going to start Bhumi Puja on 7th May for the new extension building. So if anyone wants to do a project management, all right, build 16,500 square feet state of the art school building in 12 months. You may apply to Dean VG Som, all right. All right. So, anything about corporate culture? Anyone wants to contribute to this? So, can you sum up VG Som's culture as an organization, as you see it? Who will sum up? Who will stick out his or her neck? Tell me, friendly? Huh? Predatory? Each is competing with the other to get ahead. The classmates? No. What else? Tell me. I am sure you are all creative people. You are not devoid. You can't tell me. Tell me. What is that corporate culture? Cooperative. Okay. Cooperative. What else?
So innovative.
Innovative. Good, don't laugh. Because I'll ask him 2 or 3 innovations which we've done. And what else? Huh? Optimistic. All right. This is what we are now. And what do we want to be? What is our business? Huh? Ambitious. So, what is our mission here? What are we going to be? And is our culture supporting our mission or is inhibiting? What is it doing? We want to be leaders in the service of the nation. Have we brought into play any strategy to ensure that? Yes or no? No? All right. Tell me what we should do. I can tell you 1 or 2 things what we have tried to do. For instance, your curriculum, would you say is benchmarked with the good curricula of other schools in India? No? Like what? Huh? Harvard Business School. In India, curriculum is good? Is good. What else? Infrastructure? Infrastructure requires improvement. What else? Faculty needs improvement. Yes. So there is much room here. We are not following a strategy which is in consonance with what is our mission, is it not? So who will make a strategic plan and how will we implement it? Plan is the easy part, but implementation is very difficult. One of the implementation is make a new infrastructure, make building. So one way is one of you to come and as a project, do a project on this. Everything. Basically, the project we have to have it ready before July 2004. So everything that entails coordination, there will be a site engineer, all right, there is an architect, and there is a chief technical consultant, Major General Narang, who is appointed by Vinod Gupta Charitable Foundation. Okay, and then you are the dean's nominee. Anything I want to know, is the project going on time? Essentially, is time and cost and specification being maintained. Basically, how to monitor project, how to see that it comes on time, how to coordinate, how to solve any contingency problems which come along the way.
Sir, have we got the design and layout all?
All done. 27, by tomorrow, we will have people, contractors, prospective contractors, who will collect tender papers. 14th of April is the last date, 15th April for submission of tenders, and 22nd April we will award contract. All fast, time is of the essence. So it's not a pie in the sky, it's going to happen, but someone has to keep track. First thing you have to do is make all important activities, make a bar chart, which will be the basis of follow-up with contractor. He will have to submit his bar chart, all right, and guarantee that he is going to complete activities as per this schedule. And we hope to put a bonus penalty clause also on it. So, bonus penalty clause, in order to administer it, you have to follow as per the bar chart. So, anyone excited? Think about it, sleep over it. Here is an in-house project you can do.
So one doubt, sir.
Yes.
15th is the submission and 22nd you are awarding the contract. So within those 7 days you want to review the tender as well as negotiate with the party, or?
We will negotiate only on 22nd and award it. It can be done. The tender papers are formatted in such a way that all costs, the comparative statement can be made fast. You follow the positive way of executing projects, and that is you set your target and then make a strategy which fulfills it. I told you what Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani had told, that you give good ideas. All right. I told the second year, when he was 1 year he was chairman of L&T, and he said, you are professional people, you give the ideas, I'll provide the money and I'll give the clearances. Don't think about why you cannot do this, cannot do that. What can you do? Just tell me, and then we'll make it happen.
What is the stipend?
Stipend, negotiable.
Say, it is only summer project or summer plus dissertation?
Summer plus dissertation.
Is it converted to BPF?
It can be converted, but then you have to start teaching. Huh? You can't teach as an assistant professor because you require a PhD for it, but you can register for a PhD and you can become like a scientific officer, that grade, where you can't take classes, but you can assist professors. Think about it. Here is a chance, real project. So, infrastructure. Search is already on for faculty. Now you can advertise for it. We have seen that list. Networking, you have to decide on a strategy, how to bring the professors, or a combination of all. One facilitating factor is there is a clearance from the Board of Governors to IIT that they can have a throughout the year advertisement on the web, so that it is not done on annual basis, where advertisement come in national papers, then you apply, and then anyone can apply at any time and it will be processed. So this is to make the process faster. This has been introduced in Delhi IIT, Roorkee, and we are following suit.
How soon can we expect new faculty?
How soon? That's a difficult question, because right now we have 2 or 3 people in the pipeline, but
How long is the process per applicant usually?
applicant process is roughly about 3 months. 3 months.
So we can use the IIT faculty for IT, MIS?
Of course we can, anytime. Sure.
Sir, even now, sir.
Yes, we can. Provided they are available, you have to see their load and so on. It's just practical consideration. In principle, yes, certainly. Okay, so as I said, a corporate culture can be called the organization's personality. Corporate culture is a powerful driver of employees' behavior and their consequent performance to be aligned and in congruence with the organizational interests. What should be some of the characteristics of shared values? Simple to understand, because you may have large number of people, 10,000 in the case of, or 28,000 in the case of Disney, crystallize at the top. So value usually is top to bottom driven, particularly in the case of entrepreneurial companies being set up. It's usually the man who sets it up whose values permeate. These were Walt Disney's values basically. Consistent over time. Examples, L&T is simple. In service lies success. This is the value. McDonald's, quality, service, cleanliness and value. So if you have McDonald's anywhere in the world, you see the big M sign, you know there is a shared value across continents. Whoever may be the franchisee, he has to abide by this: quality, service, cleanliness and value. Motorola, friendly service and low prices. Even if they can charge higher and you are willing to pay higher, their shared value says don't charge higher. Keep your legitimate margin but charge low. Top driven and disseminated, the most enduring values are practiced at the top, and the way to practice is believe in it, uphold it and practice it. And last but not least, when you have the value, how do you transmit across various levels, across various divisions, across various geographical locations? Myths and legend. Develop internal folklore. In L&T we had a legend, or I won't call it a legend, it's a folklore basically. It says when Mr. Hock Larsen, Mr. Soren Tubro, they incorporated a partnership company, Larsen and Tubro Limited. They had only very little capital. With 10,000 rupees, they had promoted the company. And they had hired in Mallet Bandar in Bombay one room. It had one table and one chair. So whoever came in first, he could sit on the chair. The other partner had to go and get orders. So it's a folklore which establishes a value, all right, that is market driven, all right. You have to come on time, all right, and you have to do the job all the time irrespective of your rank. Okay. So these are the kind of folklore. There is one folklore which is there mentioned in the book, from which that is Lee, that says that in 3M, which is known for its innovation, there was one engineer, all right, he was on to some project and then the project was not succeeding. So he was asked to withdraw from the project, give it up, but he didn't do it. He persisted to a point when he was fired from the company. But still he went and persisted, he did it in his garage. Finally, he got the project, the new product. He could convince the management. He was reinstated with full honors, promoted and so on. So there they are establishing a value of persistence, all right, of innovation and so on. So this is the thing. Heighten awareness of key cherished values. That is not good to have it and lock it up in the closet, but people must talk about it all the time. Socializing, how to share value, socialization, the process by which shared values and ways of behaving are instilled in new managers and employees. Learning proper behavior and way of doing things, extensive training, mentoring and coaching. These are the ways. And corporate culture and strategy implementation provides invisible mental and behavioral framework that guides the actions of employees, enables employees to better relate to one another and makes the company distinct from its competitors. Okay? So we'll end today's session, and before that I just want to show you the flip side. Entrenched and strong organizational cultures can become a double-edged sword if it falls out of step with the requirements of the changing environment. IBM's story is a classic example. The transformation of IBM into a high-tech developer of internet-based commerce tools, advanced semiconductors, ultra-sophisticated disk drives and other computer peripherals required IBM to radically change its internal focused corporate culture, all right, to retain its competitive advantage. What happened to IBM? All are aware of it or no? They were absolutely dominant, and that was the mainframe culture they had. So much so that when the market started changing to distributed computing, they refused to see the sign. Till they started hurting, and fortunately in the nick of time, they could change this culture. And so they came out when they focused all their energies and the vast strength that they had in R&D and so on. They could, but some people say they have still lost out a lot on people like Apple and so on. This is a view. So a distinctive corporate culture has become a competitive advantage in itself, provides an important bonding amongst people to work as a coordinated team to fulfill organizational objectives. It's so very important when you talk of very large and dispersed organizations, where you don't see each other, when you rely all the time on information flow, but timeless, consistent kind of culture that you built up in very large organizations. All right. So with that, we come to the end of today's session, and in the next session, which is on the 9th of April,